What's up, friends? Brandon here. Welcome back to the Scale Racing channel, coming to you tonight with the gift car race. These are all cars that were gifted to me, along with a lot of the race entries that came in for the light heavyweight championship race that we had previously. A lot of generous guys in this hobby, and I appreciate every one of you guys who sent in cards. Of course, it is not necessary, but I figure the best way to show these cars off is to go ahead and send them down the track. We'll take a quick look at each one of these cars and then find out who's sending the fastest. Stick around, it ought to be pretty good. The first 9 cars we're going to take a look at, coming from Dennis, also known as Mr. BFG, a very generous fellow in this hobby. I'm glad to call him my friend, and he sends a lot of cars to a lot of different channels, and he definitely did not disappoint on this one. This is a Johnny Lightning Custom Continental, and this was new in the package. All these cars have been to the speed shop, so they've all been worked. The wheels should be ready to go. This car weighing in at 61.5 grams. Nice metallic purple colorway. It's got some heft to it, nice width. Hopefully it'll do some good. Next car he sent in, another Johnny Lightning, this one the custom Thunderbird, and I believe the hood, the hood raises on this guy. This in a metallic green, which is pretty cool because my grandparents had a 68 Thunderbird, looked a lot like this. Same colorway as well. Metal on metal, plastic tires. This one was also new in package, weighing in at 56 grams on the nose. Next one up, the Country Club Muscle. This one is a very, very difficult model to find. It's got the blings on it. I can't remember, I think this was a Race Aces version. I've been on the lookout for one of these for a long time. Haven't been able to find one, at least not in a reasonable price range. He sent this one along. Plastic body, metal base. Pretty cool looking car. Did have a little bit of, I can't remember what wheel it was. I think it was the rear wheel was touching on the body just a little bit, so I had to take an X-Acto and just kind of clear it out. All the wheels are spinning nicely on it now. Again, all been to speed shop. 37.3 grams on the Country Club Muscle. If you've been racing, you've seen this one before. It's the Grape Ape 71 Dodge Challenger from Johnny Lightning. These have serious potential for speed. And let's see if this hood will, yep, hood will raise up. Got the orange engine block in the engine bay. Overall, a very nice looking car, even if it isn't a speedster. Excellent detailing on this guy. 60.4 grams on the Challenger. Very nice. Next up, the Smith Electric Land Rover. Of course, we know this one has potential for speed. I'm guessing this is probably an ex-Corgi casting taken over by Hot Wheels. Good size wheels on this one. Nice wide width. And weighs in at 57.3 grams. Yep, he's sending a Greyhound bus. Can you believe it? This will be the first time sending a Greyhound bus down this track, so I'm looking forward to it. It does have the black wall wheels, and if you know anything about this casting, it's a brick. Metal on metal, and yeah, very nice example as well. Very, very cool. 99.5 grams. Dennis hooks me up with some of the red edition cars because I don't have a Target close to me, and they can be really hard to find because we've got scalpers galore in Nashville. This one is the Ford Escort RS 2000. Again, this is the red edition, all black. It's got the red striping on it, 5-spoke wheels. Pretty cool looking little car, I must say. A little bit on the light side. 33.6 grams. Another red edition, the Hot Wheels Tesla Model Y. Coming in a very nice metallic red colorway. Good details front and rear. No BS going down the sides. That's fine with me. Pretty cool looking car. Always happy to get some new red editions in my collection. And this guy is going to weigh in at 32 grams on the nose. And the last car that Dennis sent in, this is the Hot Bird. This is the one that comes in the 50-foot track set. This is one I definitely did not have in my collection. We saw this one roll at Extreme Diecast. Did really good on the 1 mile drag track. We'll have to see how it does in the 1/4 mile. Nice red colorway. Of course, it's got the flaming chicken on the hood. Such a cool model. I do enjoy the Hot Bird castings very much, and I do collect this casting, so I'm very happy to have this one in the collection. Whoops. And it is going to be a metal on metal car. Should have some decent weight. 44.1 grams. Thank you very much, Dennis, for those. Very generous of you. Some awesome castings that you sent along. Hopefully we'll find some speed out of these guys. Next up, we got some Siku cars coming all the way from Germany. Marcus Reichel sent these in, and Marcus has been very generous in hooking me up with a lot of these hard to find Siku cars that are a little hard to source over here, but a little bit easier to find over in Germany. This one is a little bit of an older version. It's got the skinnier wheels with the tread on the outside. I don't know how well this is gonna roll, but I really, really like this casting and told him, hey, if you find one at a decent price, I'll make it up to you. So this is the Porsche Carrera 906, metal on metal, and he weighs in 39.1 grams. Of course, it has this rear deck that raises up so you can see the business. Very cool looking car. Old Siku cars. They do have some style, don't they? We'll have to see if they have any speed. Another one from Marcus, the Peugeot 505 STI. I've got a silver version of these, and I saw him roll the blue, and really like the blue version of this car. And I made mention of it, and he sent one in the box, so that was very kind of him to do. Most of the Sikus have opening doors. This one doesn't want to open. That's okay. At least it won't flop open on the track. These Sikus are more of a 1/55th scale, have nice detailing on them, pretty plain Jane paint jobs, but I do enjoy these models very much. They can be extremely fast. Of course, metal on metal does have the speed ring tires that we have come to find out work extremely well on the 1/4 mile. And this one weighing in at 57.2 grams, looking good. This one I've had on my radar for a long time. It's a very nice looking Siku model. It's the BMW 633 CSI. And this is a metallic green. This one was new in the package. Looking really, really nice. Very cool looking model. Love the body lines on this guy. Does have those same speed ring tires. This one though does have a plastic base, so it's actually gonna be in a lighter weight category. So we'll see if this guy has what it takes to get into the ranks in the lighter weight cars. And he does come in at 38.5 grams. Thank you very much, Marcus, for these. Very awesome. Glad to have this one in the collection as well as the other two. Elevation Diecast Racing, another channel you need to check out if you enjoy this kind of content right here. David sent in quite a few cars. This one is the 2013 Ford Mustang GT. Kind of a pro stock looking Mustang. Metal body plastic base. We'll have to see if it has any speed. This car weighing in at 35.9 grams. Another one from Elevation Diecast Racing. This is a Zender Fact 4. Red with the flamage. Metal body, plastic base. Of course, these have potential for speed. Weighing in at 34.9 grams. He also sent in the regular Treasure Hunt Donut Drifter. And it's kind of hard to see, but right here in this white stripe, you can see the Treasure Hunt symbol. Plastic body, metal base. Got the wheels worked up. Do spin pretty good, a little bit of a short wheelbase, but Treasure Hunt car, pretty cool little thing. Let's weigh them up. 29.36 grams. And the last car that David sent in is the Hot Wheels Shadowjet, this one in yellow. All these cars he sent were new in the package. I cracked them all before this video was made so I could go ahead and work the wheels on them, get them ready for race day. Shadowjet metal on metal, they can have potential. 42.3 grams on the Shadowjet. Again, thank you, David, for all these cars. I appreciate it very much. 67 Shelby GT500, this one out of the Ultra Hot series, sent in by Bobby D's Lakeside Raceway. That is the name of his YouTube channel. Make sure you go by and check it out. He does a lot of quarter mile racing on his videos, and you never know what you're going to see next on his channel. This one coming in gold. Of course, you've got the Ultra Hots Tampo work, Ultra Hots wheels. These cars have potential. I haven't run one down the track yet. It's got taillights too. Very nice. And headlights as well. Very cool looking car. I do collect this casting, so even if it doesn't have the speed, I'm glad to have it here with me. And he weighs in at 44.7 grams. Thank you, Bobby, for sending that one in. Next three cars sent in from Northern Roads Racing. Make sure you go over and check his channel out. He does a lot of switchback racing and drag racing, and he has access to some pretty nice looking cars that we don't easily get over here in the States. And this one is the Majorette Porsche 934. Nice looking casting. Jet black. It's got 6-spoke wheels. Nice detailing on this one. I think the door's open. Yep, door's open on this guy. Very cool looking car. Inserted headlights. Metal body with a plastic base. Yeah, I do enjoy the Porsches. He weighs in at 41.2 grams. Another Majorette sent in by Tommy. This one, the Toyota 2000 GT. Metal body plastic base. And yeah, the hood does raise on this one. Inserted headlights. Majorette does a really good job on their cars. It's unfortunate we don't have better access to them over here. Both the Majorettes were new in the package. I did crack them and get some dust on the wheels, so we'll have to see how this brand does going down the track. They do have a little bit of tread pattern on the outer lips of the wheels, so might make a little bit of noise, kind of reminiscent of the Matchbox cars. Overall, this is a very nice looking version of the 2000 GT. Beautiful body line on that one. 36.4 grams. Glad to have that one in the collection. Hopefully it's fast. And the last car that Tommy sent in is the Siku Weissman GT MF4. I've got a purple variant of this one. Love the body lines on this. Low, long, nice looking details. This one black with the flames. Almost has the same silhouette as the 2000 GT Toyota we just looked at. 5-spoke wheels. I think I did mention this as a plastic base. A little bit of tread on these two, and we hope this one has got some speed. This one weighing in at 40.6 grams. Again, thank you, Tommy, for sending those in. I look forward to sending them down the track. The next two cars we're going to take a look at were sent in by Mike over at Hot Wheels Head-to-Head Diecast Racing. Make sure you check out his channel. He does a lot of 8th mile Hot Wheels racing on a lot of the new mainline cars, and he has pretty good access to some of the stuff that I can't get. I never found the Zamax from the latest release. This one is the Honda Civic EF. I think you guys know how hard that can be to find in the store. He was not a participant in the last race, but these cars came in about the same time as the other one, so I wanted to go ahead and include this one in the race. Just gave me an excuse to let this sucker breathe a little bit. Very cool looking car. Of course, Zamac, metal body, plastic base. 33.5 grams. And the other car sent in by Mike, another Zamac, the second one out of this mix, and it is the 2015 Mazda MX-5 Miata. I did collect this casting as well. Pretty cool looking car in my opinion. Looking good with the Zamac colorway. Looking forward to seeing how it does. Metal body with plastic base, weighing in at 30.7 grams. Thank you very much, Mike, for sending these along. And the last two cars that we're gonna run down the track, these were actually a trade that I did with Frank over at Red Pill Racing. Make sure you check out that channel. He has a lot of racing and a lot of good information and stuff going on over there. This is the ultra hot Honda Civic SI. Very hard to find in my neck of the woods. He had some stash back, I had something he wanted, and vice versa. So we struck up a trade, and yeah, this one looking good with the dark, very dark metallic blue coloration, ultra hots, wheels, details front and rear on this one. Pretty nice looking car. That casting can be pretty quick too. Weighing in at 38.3 grams. And the other car that was included in the trade from Frank is this Nissan Silvia S14 Drift. Again, another ultra hot that is ultra hard to find. You can only get them in Targets, and Target is about an hour and a half away from the house, and they usually get scalped before I have a chance to get down there. Nice dark metallic purple colorway. Of course, it's got the ultra hots wheels, metal body, plastic base. Very cool looking model. 34.5 grams on the Silvia. And thank you very much, Frank, for the trade. Got a couple cars out of there that I have a very hard time finding. Appreciate that very much. And thank you to everybody who sent in cars for this last race. It is certainly not required, but it is absolutely appreciated. And I look forward to getting them on the track, so let's see how they do.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, this is going to be our race order. I've got them kind of separated into their associated weight classes for the first round pairings. We've got 16 on the left side of the bracket, and we've got the remaining 8 on the right-hand side of the bracket. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. All right, it's Honda versus Toyota in the first race. See how it does. It's the Honda taking that one. 23.43 to a 23.76. Ew. Those times were not very good. We're going to go ahead and try to roll this in one length of footage, minimize my editing. The Honda had really smooth wheels right out of the box. I'm kind of believing that he had oil on the wheels. 23.56 to a 24.03. He didn't have much of a gain as far as wheel spin goes after dust. 23.56, it's not too bad, but it's not absolutely spectacular. And next up, Shadow Jet. Trying to line up that nose can be a little tricky versus the Siku Wiseman GT. Siku making some noise. 23.01 to a 23.48. We're gonna go ahead and do rocket round on this one. So fastest pass after lane swaps is gonna advance that car to the next round. I think this one is pretty much in the bag for the Shadow Jet. This is probably the furthest or the biggest distance between weights out of all the cars on here, except for the bus, of course. Yeah, 23.06 to a 23.53. So Shadow Jet is going to be moving on to the next round. Not a bad time. I don't know if that time is going to be enough to get him in the ranks or not. Next up, a couple Porsches. A couple nice looking Porsches. And these have had about 2 or 3 laps worth of exercise. I'll run them off. And typically after the third one, they're good to go. Oh, the Siku taking care of it. 24.14 to a 24.61. Okay. Well, they look good. And that's about all I've got to say about that. When I was exercising, the Siku is actually passing some really good times. Not so much anymore. 24.14 is a little better. 2335 to a 2383, and that 2335 is a pretty good time for those skinny wheels. However, not very consistent, is it? Donut Drifter versus the Miata up next. I really don't know how either of these are going to do. The Miatas are not really known for being all that fast. Donut Drifter's so light. But Donut Drifter takes it 2374 to 2401. Not too impressive. I don't even think 2374. No way. He's not even going to get into the lightweight ranks with that kind of time. So 2374, time to beat. Mazda proving that it's not very fast. 2372 to a 2389. Looks good. Doesn't run good. How often do we see that? Okay, next up. This ought to be an interesting matchup. And I don't know, this might be spoiling the race right here. But if I see some good times out of some of these cars, we'll make sure and visit them later, see if they might rank. But we've got the Siku Peugeot versus Johnny Lightning. Ought to be a good race. It is a good race. 2305 to a 2308. Only 3 thousandths difference between the two. I'm running Rocket Round, fastest pass. I think I said that. Is going to move him on. Just because I don't like showing how bad at math I am on video. All right, 2305, the time to beat. See if the Johnny Lightning can do it. Good race, but it's still the CQ. 2308 to a 2312, so CQ takes both of them. He'll be moving on. Next up, the Ultra Hawks. What everybody has been ransacking the shelves at Target for, I guess, at least the JDM fanboys. I kind of like them. See if the Honda does any good. Wow, the Honda does not do any good. 2393 to a 2395. I did not expect that. Wow. Honda is lousy. Okay, let's see here. Where did I have him at? Yep, lane swap. So the Sylvia with a 2393. Let's see if the Honda can beat that. No. 2341 to a 2376. So the Honda, lousy. It'll look good on the shelf. Next up, we've got the Hot Wheels Zender Fact 4 versus the Mustang. Imagine the Mustang might have a chance. He's got a longer wheelbase than Zender. See what he does. Zender taking care of business. 2337 to a 2381. Mustang not doing all that well. Mustang with wide tires in the rear. One of the viewers asked about that the other day. I don't have a lot of wide rear tire cars in my ranks. I think I've got 2. Let's see, 2337, the time to beat, set down by the Zender. Mustang's not going to do it. 2338 to a 2363. So the Zender moving on, running pretty consistently. This ought to be a good matchup. It's the CQ BMW 633 versus the Country Club Muscle. I think that's the Race Aces version. I never did check Let's see how they do. Country Club Muscle. Yeah, 2320 to a 2420. With that being said, I don't know if you can see it or not. See the gold on the axles on the front there? I believe that's titanium nitride. The rear does not have that coating. I don't know if that was a mistake. I think the BMW actually had a little bit of rust on the axles too. I may stick him in some juice to get rid of the rust and maybe revisit him. 2320, the time to beat. 2324 to a 2369. So unfortunately for the Siku, he's going to bed early. And fortunately for Hot Wheels, moves on to the next round. Okay, a couple Johnnies. Linky versus the T-Bird. Lincoln's got the weight. See if the T-Bird's got the wheels to make up for his slight weight detriment. Kind of noisy. 2346 to a 2350. Lincoln takes that one by 4 thousandths, not much. Warm in the garage today. If I had to guess, it's probably about 81, 82 degrees. It's been a hot week for us this last week. 2346, the time to beat. Ooh. 2365 to a 2375. So the Lincoln is going to take it with his first run. Thunderbird is going home. Now we've got a red editions. They're about 2 grams apart weight-wise. The Tesla and the Escort. All right, here we go. See if these lightweight guys have anything. Escort taking that one. 2368 to a 2405. Not too impressive, but that's kind of what we expect out of today's main lines a little bit, unfortunately. Always a topic for discussion. Bean counters, shaving weight, every place they can get. Doesn't make for very fast race cars. 2368, time to beat. I don't think the Tesla is going to get it. No. 2396 to a 2412. All right, so Escort takes both of those. And the Tesla needs to go recharge his batteries. Next up, this might be an interesting run. Smith Electric Land Rover versus the Greyhound bus. Greyhound bus has the weight. The wheels are not the best. Land Rover wheels are pretty darn good. We'll see if the weight can make up for the wonkiness. Good race, but that is the Land Rover. 2325 to a 2347. Yeah, the buses, just because they're heavy doesn't mean they're fast. You have to find some with absolutely perfect wheels. And what I have found is there's not a lot of black walls from the 80s that actually do very well. 2325, the time to beat. Land Rover getting it done again. 2327 to a 2344. So Land Rover running pretty consistent. Pretty consistent. The bus, I don't know. It's a good looking bus. I had one of those when I was a kid. Had a bunch of those steering rigs when I was a kid too. And those things are, I don't know if you've seen the prices on them on eBay lately, but I won't be revisiting those castings anytime soon. All right, pretty good matchup right here. Hotbird versus the GT500. Yeah. Extreme Diecast rolled the Hot Bird. He did really good on the 1 mile. 23:31 to a 23:48. So the Hot Bird, marginal runs. Let's see if they can warm up a little bit more. Maybe the Red Bandit over there can pull one out. 23:31, the time to beat. Close race. 23:23 to a 23:25. So that was considerably closer, but GT500 takes them both. And that is round number 1. Jumping right into round number 2. We've got the Honda versus the Shadowjet. And I think we probably know how this is going to end up. Probably not going to be a good day for the Honda. But that's okay. He'll look good on the shelf too. Yeah, Shadowjet gapping him. Wow, 22.99 to a 23.37. I think that's the first 2.2 we've seen so far, if I'm not mistaken. Haven't ran a lot of Shadowjets. I had one early when I first started the channel. And underneath the front axle, it was actually dragging on the track a little bit. 22.99 the time to beat. Honda keeping up a little better that time. Shadowjet slowing down. 23.17 to a 23.38. So Shadowjet putting the Honda to bed. So he'll be going on to the next round. Honda will be going to the shelf. Siku. Old school Siku versus the Dernit. I mean, whatever. The donut, I guess they've got to get creative in their own special ways, right? Oh, the Porsche. 23.12 to a 23.55. Yeah, that's the times that I was seeing when I was warming them up. Maybe he just had to wake up a little bit. Smell the coffee and the donuts. Yep. Okay, 23.12, the time to beat. Well, the donut drifter goes to the coffee shop. 23.07 to a 23.53. So 2 pretty good runs by the Porsche. Kind of surprising with those wheels being treaded and skinny, but it is what it is, right? Now we have Siku Peugeot. Serious weight advantage over the Sylvia. We'll see if he can do anything with it. Or, oh yeah, 23.09 to a 23.72. Gappage. Fed him some Gapple sauce. We'll run it, even though I don't think the Sylvia's got a shot. 23.09 time to beat. More gappage. 23.12 to a 23.68, which is kind of what I expected. But Peugeot, moving on to the next round. Next up, it's the Hot Wheels Zender Fact 4 with the saw blades versus Country Club Muscle with the blings. Country Club Muscle with a really long wheelbase. It was pretty fast. Close race. 23.15 to a 23.26, separated by about 11 thousandths. I'm not too bad at that math. I can do that. CCM, move into lane number 1. 23.15, the time to beat for the Zender Fact 4. Not going to happen. 23.16 to 23.32. Good run by the Zender. sorry, Country Club Muscle. Sender goes home. Next up, another severely out of balance weight category here. Johnny Lightning. Lincoln versus the Hot Wheels Escort. Who knows? Johnny taking care of it. 2347 to a 2361. So, do a lane swap. Confirm anybody's doubts. Johnny wheels work pretty good, but these Challengers, they can be a little, I don't know, sometimes they're good. Let's see, 2347 time to beat. Johnny Lightning gapping the Escort 2342 to a 2377. So, yeah. Escort packing up his belongings, heading back to the house. Well, we've got 2 more Hot Wheels left to go for this round number 2 matchup. This Land Rover, probably about a 10-gram weight advantage to the GT500, but let's see what they do. Good race. That's what they do. 2324 to a 2326, so only separated by 2 thousandths. That was a good race. Let me get this thing out of the way here before I trip on it. Did not expect that, but you never know. Lanes are swapped. 2324, the time to beat. On your marks, set, go. Ooh. 2331 to a 2338, okay. So the Land Rover beats the GT500's fast time from the first matching. And that is the end of round number 2. Let's jump right into it. Shadowjet versus Porsche. Does the Porsche have enough to take down probably the fastest car on the grid right at the moment? We shall see. Oh my goodness. Wow, 2294 to 2296. Wasn't expecting that. Were you expecting that? Jeez. Not a bad run by the Porsche. If he could just manage to stay consistent. He is a little bit on the narrow side. Okay, 2294, the time to beat. See if Shadowjet can do it. Oh, you saw that, didn't you? So Shadowjet did not beat that 2294. Wow. I'm gonna rerun that. That Porsche run was absolutely horrific. If he can pull off a better time in this lane, I'll let him pass with the 2294. But that was quite terrible. He would have definitely lost the beat on that one. Let's see. Okay. Wow. 2294 to a 2306. Yeah, I know that consistency is always what you're looking for in a car. In this particular race, you know, it is what it is. I like seeing those old cars go fast, even if they do act a little janky sometimes. Country Club Muscle versus the Siku Peugeot. Peugeot run pretty consistent. I think Country Club Muscle is too. This ought to be a good race. Pretty big weight difference between the two. Siku taking it. 2310 to a 2319. 9 thousandths difference between the two. Okay. Siku is consistent, not blindingly fast, but it is what it is. 23:10, the time to beat. There's it again, 23:05 to a 23:31. Interesting. Okay. So we've got Porsche versus Peugeot. Pugot, as we like to say it in the South. Johnny Lightning, Custom Lincoln versus the Land Rover. A couple heavy castings, ought to be pretty good. Johnny getting his doors blown off. 23:23 to a 23:80. Yeah. Oh, Johnny. Johnny. You have all the boxes ticked except for one. 23:23, the time to beat. And it's the Land Rover. 23:25 to a 23:68. So, Hot Wheels. Putting away Johnny. And he's going to have a, let's see, what is this? Third round bye. Semifinals. Porsche Siku versus Peugeot. No more gimmies for the Porsche. He's got to win it or not. Sound good for you? All right, let's go. Close race. 23:03 to a 23:11. Yeah, the Peugeot was in lane number 2, so he's swapping to lane 1. Porsche now in lane number 2. 23:03, the time to beat. Let's see if he can do it. Negatory. 23:01 to a 23:29. So the Peugeot going to the final round against the Smith Electric Land Rover. I think the Land Rover might be in trouble. He's pretty consistent, but not putting up times quite as good as that. Let's see how they do for the final. It's a good race, though. 23:13 to a 23:20. Good race, 7 thousandths difference. Let's do best out of 3 for the final. How's that sound? That's usually what I do. Okay. Peugeot now in lane number 2. Land Rover. Lane number 1. We don't have to worry about the times. We just have to worry about the beat or the finishes. Ah, Peugeot with 2. Wow, 22:98 to a 23:24. So Peugeot, 2 wins under its belt. All he needs is one more to take the overall victory here. Okay, there's that. Peugeot's going to take it. 3 wins. So, Marcus Reichel sending in the fastest car of the night, the Siku Peugeot 505 STI. Forgive me for forgetting all the other nomenclature. And Mr. BFG sending in the Smith Electric Land Rover. So, I tell you what we'll do. Third place. I want to run. Let's do this one more time. The Shadow Jet can be consistent, run some fast passes, and watch the Porsche swim like a baby minnow. Yeah, Shadow Jet, 23:06 to a 23:23. This is going to determine third place on the podium. I don't know if we didn't run Country Club Muscle. I'll look back and find out. Okay, yep, lane swaps. There's that. Can the Porsche beat a 2306? We'll see. No, you can't stay consistent enough. 2298 by the Shadow Jet. Well, it's a great time to finally wake up, bro. I don't think we ran. I'll give Country Club Muscle one more shot. I don't think he's gonna have the times that Shadow Jet's pushing out right now. But I like to see him on the track, so why not? Shadow Jet lane 1, CCM lane 2. Yeah, that was a pretty good beat. I think I saw gappage there, so I'm gonna call that one good to go. Interesting, very interesting. Thank you guys very much for sending in the cars. Marcus Reichel taking the overall win with the Peugeot, Mr. BFG with the Land Rover, and Elevation Diecast sending in the Shadow Jet. I'm surprised I didn't forget the name of that car during this race. I usually do. Something about that car, I don't know. I can't remember the names. Let's go ahead, and I know you saw these cars on the deck down here, right? So I reworked, and I've got a lot more down on the deck here too. But during the light heavyweight championship, I had a bunch of cars lined up down here. A lot of them had already been worked. They needed to be resorted into the ranks, and I did that. I don't think I had any heavyweights. If I did, they didn't really do all that well. Not enough to get in the ranks. The Crashers, the blue Crasher stock car, actually did really well. He made it into the stack briefly. He was on the bubble. He couldn't get up to the number 12 spot. And then after I ran the 280 quickly dispatched him, took his spot over there. Snoke got reworked. He's all the way up into the number 3 spot in the 51 to 62 gram weight category. This guy right here, holy cow, Maximus Charger, Fast and Furious. I think, you remember I notched this track out for the light heavyweight race. I think that is what really made him come alive. Bywayman, he made a huge jump. This guy made a pretty good jump. He's sitting about, 13th overall in that category. This guy made it back in. Either this guy or this guy. Same casting. I know some people don't like doing that, but whatever. One of those took a pretty big jump. Let's see, what else? I can't remember who else made it in. 41 to 50 gram weight class. This guy got a rework and ended up topping out over the Ghibli. Batman. Pretty good casting for a character car. This guy was out. The Dodge, he made it back in. The blue F-150 made it back in. And there may have been one more. I can't recall off the top of my head which one came back in. A lot of them got pushed out. This guy was out. This one you hadn't seen before, Crescendo, in the 31 to 40 gram weight class. He now sits down at the bottom. Not a bad car out of a 5-pack. Gruesome Twosome was out. He got it back in. Now he's on the bubble one more time. And nothing changed in the lightweight ranks. But all these cars that you see down here, they either got reworked and did not make it back into the ranks, or they got kicked out of the ranks. And a lot of the cars that you see down here that got kicked out, I reworked them and I put them back up against the gatekeepers and they couldn't get back in. And oh yeah, the biggest surprise that we saw out of the re-ranking, as I was sorting through these cars, I noticed that the Fast and Furious Impala evidently likes this track mod right here. Impala makes it all the way to the, let's see here, 8th spot overall in my top fastest casting. Got a lot of Fast and Furious cars in my top 13. He landed right below the Charger, right above the orange Roadrunner. Pretty impressive though. I knew whenever we were running him before, he had some really fast runs, and then whenever he was in this lane closest over here, he was tapping the wood, and that was kind of messing him up a little bit. But man, yeah, and I hadn't even reworked him. I just basically saw him do some astounding runs when I was resorting cars, and yeah, that's where he's at. So anyway, all these retired. That makes me sad, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's go ahead and take the winners, or the winner, put him up against the weight category, see where he can land. We'll do the same thing with the Shadowjet and the Land Rover and see if they can do any good. All right, the Peugeot coming in at 57.5 grams. The new gatekeeper to that class is the Johnny Lightning Hot Rod 69 Camaro. And this guy, I think I've got 2 of these in my ranks. This guy is probably the less consistent of the 2. Let's see if the Peugeot's got anything for him. 2295 to a 2298. 3 thousandths. Camaro, running pretty good. He has no exercise yet. So he might get faster, he might swim. We'll see if the Peugeot can click off faster than a 2295. It'd be a no. Wow. 2283 to a 2300. So the Peugeot not making it into the ranks, unfortunately. That leaves us with Smith Electric. Give me a second. I'll get him weighed up. I think he's going to be in the same weight category. Yeah, 58.25. I really don't even think that he's going to have it. We'll run it once, but I'm pretty sure that the Camaro is going to blow his doors off. Same weight category, and Peugeot beat, it's garbage. 2287 to a 2325. Okay, so those 2 not making it into the ranks, unfortunately. Shadowjet, 42.3 grams. So he's going to be in the 41 to 50 gram weight class, which leaves us with Old Blue now sitting on the bubble. Old Blue, this is the car that has been in my possession the longest time out of all the cars that I currently own. Bought them a long time ago. Metal and metal car, of course, convertible Mustang. Oh boy. Terrible run by the Mustang. 2322 to a 2297. Okay. We may just have a Shadowjet in the ranks. First Shadowjet, I think, ever in my ranks. Which I think Dale over at DXP, he's got quite a few of them in his ranks. 2297. Let's see if the Mustang can pick it up. You cannot. 2311 to a 2327. Okay, so Mustang. And this guy was recently reworked, sitting on the bubble. I think you guys know my rule. If one of these cars gets crapped out of my ranks, like if that guy gets shifted out of the ranks, I'll rework him, run him again. If he makes it back up higher in the ranks, great. But if he only ends up down here somewhere, the very next time he gets shuffled out, he's retired. So let's jump up a few. Creeper. One of the few castings that have been released in the last few years that actually does really good on track. The Minecraft Creeper. Let's see if Shadowjet can displace him. Oh, he does. 2295 to a 2306. Where did these miraculous times come from? And don't be surprised if some of these cars are running some lousier times. Let's put them up against the F-150. A lot of these have not been reworked in a long, long time. What happens is they eventually make their way to the bottom. When I start sorting all these cars, again, whenever I shuffle them out, they get a rework. F-150 putting up a fight. 2310 to a 2312. So he beats the the F-150 beats Shadowjet. Shadowjet has been doing better times than that. So we'll see if he can get it done in lane number 1. 2310 the time to beat. Yeah, 2297 to a 2306. Let me know in the comments down below if you like this format. Me just kind of rambling on while we race off cars. Let's go to the Hot Wheels Tide Thunderbird. These little Thunderbirds can be some sneaky little suckers sometimes. A lot of times, actually. So Shadowjet can get around them. That'd be a no. 2299 to 2308. And that was straight out of the box, or out of the ranks. He goes to lane number 2. Shadowjet lane number 1. Shadowjet has run faster than 2299, barely. Let's see if he can get it done. Oh, there he goes. 2292 to a 2300. So Thunderbird waking up a little bit. Come on, sucker. Where do you want to go now? See, we ended here. Let's go in the middle with this Mercedes. Gold Hot Ones. Little Mr. Schwimmy. Let's hope he stays straight. We all know how the Gold Hot Ones can be. Sometimes temperamental. Oh man, that's terrible. 2342 to a 2307. Yeah, there you go. That's one that's going to need a serious rework. He's going to be shuffled out pretty quickly. It's just the way it goes. When you do it that way, everything tends to get faster. Takes a little bit of time. Reworking cars. 2307 the time to beat. A little bit better out of the hole, but he's not beating Shadowjet. 2303 was the time on Shadowjet. So we're going to be moving up. Buzz Lightyear. This one, I've seen a few guys have a really, really fast version of Buzz. Mine, he's okay. It's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you get some quick ones, sometimes not. Sometimes they just need to be reworked 8 million times. Shadowjet taking care of business there. 2307 to a 2314. Okay. 7,000's difference. I think this might be the stopper. Buzz Lightyear, the Grand Prix, coming out of a 2-pack. Shadowjet passing him. 2300 to 2303. What was that time on the last one? 2307 was the fast time by Shadowjet. So Buzz Lightyear ripping off a decent time. Shadowjet is going to go in there, and I'll shuffle these guys down later. Let me think. What else did we have here? Porsche. He weighed in at 39.19. So he's going to be down here in the 31 to 40 gram weight class against Two classic cars, right? Matchbox, Gruesome Twosome against the Porsche Carrera. The Gruesome Twosome ought to run pretty good. He was recently reworked. Let's see what happens here. Ooh, terrible. 2328 to a 2336. I'm bragging on the Gruesome Twosome. That was a horrible run. Not impressive. What does that say about my reworking skills? Okay, one more time. 2328, time to beat. Okay, there he goes. 2323 to a 2352. So Gruesome Twosome is safe. Porsche, he'll look good on the shelf. Let's see here. Anything else we want to see against the ranks? 37.3 for the Country Club Muscle. So we'll put him up against Gruesome Twosome, who we just saw ran, who, I don't know, he might be in trouble. Let's see what they do. Country Club Muscle, taking care of business. 2318 to a 2322. This might be a little bit of a long video. Hope you all don't mind. Y'all came here to see some racing, right? Well, and yep, 2318 is what the Gruesome needs to beat. Boy, he's not going to do it. 2325 to a 2326. Okay, so yet another retired casting because he was just recently reworked. So we'll see how Country Club Muscle does against the Crescendo. I was actually working on a 5-pack video towards the end of January that included this car, and yeah, lots of shit happened. So rather than running that on video, I just went ahead and placed them in the ranks. 2316, that's a dead nuts tie, 1-1. Wow, okay, sweet. You don't see that very often. Swap lanes. I really hope Country Club Muscle beats Crescendo. Not my favorite casting, but they're fast, they're fast. What can you do, right? 2316, the time to beat. Crescendo waking up big time. 2304 to a 2318. So at least we've got another car into the ranks. Country Club Muscle for Mr. BFG. Now on the bubble in the 31 to 40 gram weight class. Who else do you want to see? This little guy was not too impressive. Majorette. He was in the, I think he weighed 29 grams or 28 point something grams. So we'll put him up against the Matchbox Opel Speedster. Another pretty lightweight casting. This one of the 2005 Superfasts. Very lightweight. See if Dernett's got it. Wow. 2351 to a 2360. I'm not saying wow to the times. Times are not very good. I'm just saying wow because that really sucked. We're going to have a donut in the ranks? Maybe. 2351, the time to beat. Hopefully the Matchbox wakes up. Come on, Matchbox. 2354 to a 2373. What was that, 2351? It was. So this guy's out. He'll need a rework. I think that was right. I think it was a 2351. Next guy up, F1 Racer. In the lightweight ranks. Make sure you check out the F1 Racers. They're not bad. They're light, but they're not bad. See if you can put the donut away. He does. 2344 to a 2357. 23:44, the time to beat. I don't think the darn it's going to get it done. Give me a shot, at least. 23:44. Yeah, no. 23:27 to a 23:79. I would imagine that once the opal got a rework, he'd probably take that spot back. Don't it? In the bubble spot. All right. What else did we have here? GT 500. Wasn't too stinky. I don't think he's going to have it for his weight class. 44.75. That's going to be this guy, Johnny Lightning Porsche 911. That is a nice casting, kind of a root beer color. He is now the gatekeeper for that weight category, thanks to Shadow Jet. We'll see if the GT500 has got anything for the Porsche. Porsche hasn't been reworked in a long time. He's running on dust. Porsche taking it by 2000s. 2313 to a 2315. This is typically what I do after my 32 car races are done. I'll just start sorting through all the cars. If any of them showed any promise, put them up against the ranks. If they make it, great. If they don't, well, 2313, the time to beat. Porsche keeping his spot. 2312 to a 2318. So unfortunately, GT500 could not make it in. I think out of all these guys, was this a heavyweight? 61.5. I really don't think he's going to beat that Camaro, so I'm not going to mess around there. I think this guy was pretty light, wasn't he? 34.5. 34.5. I think he raced Country Club Muscle and lost, so we don't have to bother with that one. So that's done. What else have we got? Beamer needs help. 3850. He did not beat Country Club Muscle, so I'm not going to even go there with that one. What else? Just because I like the Hot Birds. 44 on the nose. So that would be in the 41 to 50 gram weight class. Let's go ahead and put him up against the Porsche. I think the Porsche is probably going to outdo the Hot Bird. Two pretty cars up on the blocks. What do you think? Let's see if the Hot Bird woke up. It's close. 2313 to a 2319. Not bad. Not a bad race. The times are kind of meh. All right. 2313, the time to beat it. The Hot Bird wants to make it in. Not going to happen. Isn't that an incredibly consistent time for a Johnny Lightning? I think so. Porsche 911 holds his spot. And let's see here. The bus. Let's see the bus run one more time. You know he's going to be in the heavyweight class. And in the greater than 62 gram class, we've got the fat fendered 40. So let's see if the bus has anything for this aqua colored fat fendered 40. I'm going to say probably not, but you never know. Yeah, maybe a little gappage. 28 to a 65. I don't think I'm going to run that one again. Fat fendered 40 safe in the bubble spot. Bus not making it into the ranks. And that being said, all the other cars that we've got up here, I think ran some less than good times. We're not gonna mess around with those over here in the ranks. So we did get Shadow Jet. Where'd he go? There he is. Shadow Jet from Elevation making it into the ranks. Mr. BFG sending that Country Club Muscle on the bubble, and the Donut Drifter in the less than 30 gram weight category. Again, thank you all for sending in cars for that last light heavyweight championship series. We're going to be doing the heavyweight here before too long. So keep an eye on redlinederby.com. I'll announce the race there. Also in my next race, I'll go ahead and announce that I'm opening it up for positions for that race. Again, thank you very much for everybody who sent in cars for the post-race stuff. Very cool to get these cars from you guys. I thank you very much. And I hope you guys enjoyed hanging around with me for a little while. Until next time, y'all stay healthy. Have fun racing.